All right, so we are live tonight on Facebook at Robin Comrade, which I'm in Facebook jail, Kale, so it won't let me edit the name of the freaking
Shocking.
page.
Oh, Lord.
We're also online with at the Carolina Jackpot channel. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, we're going to have a great show this evening. Let a couple of folks get in here, and then we'll get started. Tonight, we're going to give the Comrade and Kale a chance. I don't know, because I don't know where Kale feels. I know how the Comrade feels on all of this. Comrade's a steady as they go type guy, but there are three people that if you just look down the Gamecock Twitter world, they want fired tonight. A section of them do, so we'll get into that momentarily. But we'll let you guys talk them off the ledge. All right, here we go. Welcome into the latest edition of the Robin Comrade and Kale Show, the podcast that divides the Palmetto State. I am Rob Sanders, your host. Kale's about to hit me in the face there. Anyway, I represent the Clemson Tigers on this podcast, winners of 2 out of the last 4 national championships, and who had a great weekend on the sports front. I have 2 co-hosts. One of them is so upset, he's posting pictures of his cat. He is the Dirty Russian. He is the Comrade, Mike Dobreski. Mike, good evening, sir.
Good evening. A great weekend for Gamecock sports because unlike Clemson, we brought home some hardwares this weekend. Did Clemson bring home hardware? No. More hardware for Gamecock athletics. The trophy case is getting full as can be. Congratulations, Lady Gamecocks, SEC champions once again, steamrolling the competition. And some teams who get ranked number 1, take care of business, and some teams don't in this state. So good job for Don Staley and Lady Gamecocks as they were headed for a date with destiny in early April. So good job by them.
Well, great on that front. I also have another co-host for this show. He is the man that Big Bubba Rogers doesn't want a damn thing to do with. He is Cale Hall. Cale, good evening, sir.
Well, I agree with that, and good evening as well. As he said, great weekend by the Lady Gamecock basketball team. They can be ranked number 1 and without the benefit of illegal ostarine to do it.
No ostarine.
Holy shit, this is great.
No shampoo bottles or tattoos for them bitches.
Wait, did you just call them bitches? Damn it, Kale. I'm gonna give you a chance to black that.
They're hardcore.
Oh God. Anyway. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll take care of our sponsors first this evening. We'll start with Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia. Cheddar Bob, Billy Muse, they love the show. They want Kale to come and do the live show there. I told them that Kale lives in the upstate. We gotta manipulate and figure out how to get Kale.
I have not met Cale Hall yet. Have you met Kale yet?
Of course I've met Kale.
When did you meet him?
Of course.
I met Kale, twice, I think.
Okay. I've just met Kale. I don't. Well, I mean, the 2 times I've gone up the upstate, I didn't meet him.
The camera, you jizz mop. He's right there. Say hello. This is Cale Hall. Hello.
I know, like in person, jackass.
Hello,
like shaking his hand, buying him a beer, like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have it under good authority that if Cale Hall makes a show at Callaway's, Cale will not have to pay for his beer. Imagine that. They may have to get another truck. Anyway, but Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia, Highway 1, diagonal from the Walmart. Of course, you can go by, have some great food. I stopped in on Friday. The Golden Tea Lounge was full of folks. Everybody playing Golden Tea, coming from the upstate to play in the Golden Tea Lounge. I love that damn Golden Tea. Retro video, sweetest bartenders. The best food is at Callaway's. Callaway'sBarandGrill.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Callaway's Bar and Grill. We also have another sponsor, Dennis Wilson, D&C Trucking and Transport, the No Spin Zone segment with the Comrade. Comrade, read away.
President Caslin's a documented liar. What a horrible weekend for Gamecock athletics. The basketball team sure is building something special as they lose when it matters most. They are finding a special way to fall right out of the NCAA tournament. Let's all pray for Frank Martin, who was a great coach, but simply can't shake the Gamecock curse. The baseball team lost the series to a Big Ten team that is picked to finish last in the conference. I will try to spin and make it about Clemson tonight because I don't have a leg to stand on. Our baseball team is not elite anymore. Remember, it sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That message courtesy of Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. Dennis went to the game today.
He did.
Founders.
You want to read his post today on his personal page?
Yeah, you can read it. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll paraphrase. He said, as he posted the picture, had good seats, pen on plate. He says, I may be a Tiger, but man, what a ballpark.
Did he want to see what a trophy case looks like?
I believe so. I think he wanted to go see some hardware.
There?
He wanted to go see some hardware. You go to the upstate, you just see stuff on the hats. Here, you actually see trophies.
You step over a cow patty coming in, and then you might get to go hang out in the Gaijin Cafe. That's about it.
Well, by the way, the South Carolina baseball team, the one that they prop up and say is the most elite ever, they lost a series to Northwestern this weekend. Northwestern came into Columbia. This is the place where the comrade says is the quote mecca of college baseball. I feel like a victim when I say that.
It is.
They came in losers of 2 of 3 to a team named Omaha. And they came into Columbia and they beat some Gamecock ass. In fact, if you go to the Northwestern Wildcats baseball Wikipedia page, it says the Wildcats this weekend picked up a series win over a former but now fallen SEC great in South Carolina. There you go. That's on the Wikipedia
Sounds
page.
like you edited that one because you can edit it.
Yeah, no, probably understand that.
Why would I edit it?
Well, you like to lie.
Sound like you did.
If I edited it, I would put a lot more there, so it wouldn't be that well put. But it is on the Northwestern Wildcats baseball page.
Talk about the Gamecocks.
They beat the Gamecocks this weekend. So I'm waiting on how you're going to spin this because Northwestern was picked to finish near the bottom of the Big Ten. But let me guess.
They're better than that.
Fuck you, Rob. South Carolina's going to Omaha, Rob.
Obviously they're
regional, right?
Obviously, they're a sleeping giant.
Well, I mean, first of all, going by preseason predictions are pretty dumb for college baseball. So we'll see how good they are. I'll say this: Friday's game, I was real impressed with Northwestern. I tipped my hat. We actually hit the ball really well. They made some great defensive plays when guys on base. I mean, Easter hit a ball that it's usually a 2-run double, and the guy made a great play at third base. I mean, so you tip your hat there. Saturday's game we won. Today's game we didn't hit with guys on base. Didn't look too good. I will point out that one of our key guys in the lineup didn't play all weekend. The freshman phenom. I don't think he's hurt real bad, but didn't want to test it in the cold. So I will point that out. But if I'm not real concerned yet. Okay, it's one series early in the year. Not real concerned. Unlike our basketball team, the baseball team can lose some of these games early in the year because we have a conference schedule that's loaded and lots of ways to help their resume for the tournament. Our basketball team, we don't play in a great conference in terms of the sport. And so when you get behind the 8 ball, losing to Stetson and BU, you don't have as much chances to make that stuff up. So,
Comrade, do you know what this music is? Is you just going to keep
I remember going to a couple of Braves games at the beginning of the 95 season. Lost a fucking series to damn Pittsburgh, who was in last place and finished in last place. Guess what? They won the World Series.
I'll point out, too, that one of the years, I'm going to have to, because we win at multiple times, but one of the years we won a national title, we lost the game to Francis Marion that year. So, I mean, if you understand college baseball, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm not saying it's
some that don't. No, it's been the greatest thing all week for you. Don't lie now. Don't.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at you.
You made it as part of the script.
You're better than you are.
Okay, it had this. So because we lost this series, once again,
Mike,
were we good in 2010? Were we? Let me ask you a question.
Hold on.
Were we good in 2010?
Hold on. Will you give me a chance to talk?
Okay.
First of all,
Moonwalk is back.
This is the hit Yes Tonight Josephine by Johnny Ray, the #1 hit song in June of 1957. You love June, right? That's the last time Northwestern went to the tournament, and the only time, by the way. So now you use the example of, hold on, I'll let you run your mouth. Okay. You can give me 10 seconds here. You use the reference of, oh, well, we beat Francis Marion and went on to the World Series. Exactly. You did do that. Congratulations. That's great. But it's a completely different animal. You lose one midweek game when you send your midweek guys out there compared to losing a weekend series. Now, is the season shot? No. But for the folks that were thinking, oh, well, the Gamecocks are going to the Super Regional, and I'm not saying you said that, but I'm saying there are some people that did think that.
So now they're not going? You don't think they can't go to Super Regional now?
I'm saying that good
as a Clemson fan, you should not talk with Super Regionals.
Mike, this is not about Clemson. Good SEC teams don't lose to bad Big Ten teams. It's simple as that.
Is Auburn a good team?
They lost to Central Florida. Completely different animal, Mike.
Okay. They got swept,
and
right?
Auburn doesn't run around with their fan base saying, we are the fucking Mecca and we're the best.
We are the. I mean, it's a great ball. I mean, Dennis Wilson posted today.
That's great.
I mean, the one thing, the one joy I get, watch the Clemson players on Friday night.
This isn't about Clemson.
Look at their faces. I mean, they're playing in a ballpark they all dreamed of playing in. They weren't good enough to. They weren't good enough to get the call from the Gamecocks. And so they went to Clemson, and they cherished that one game. Crazy. You can see they're like, man, here we are. We're on the big stage finally. You know, we're playing in the big stage. We're playing in the Mecca. You know, my dream was to play here. You know, for 30 games a year, but that's not going to happen. But I get one game a year now. You know, and you can tell that. I mean, I feel good for them. And they come out, and it's their World Series. I mean, Friday night's their World Series. To play in the Mecca, it's their World Series. I mean, they put – I heard there's a rumor that they're going to start putting the Ray on their hats from now on because that's kind of like their big – instead of Omaha, the Ray. I
agree with you.
And so, I mean, as a baseball fan, and I have a son who plays baseball, and just to see – like that hard work paying off. They got there. Maybe it's not wearing the garnet or the pinstripes, okay, but they got there on that field, And the same thing when the Furman comes to town and college. I mean, it's tough because they're playing and they're dream place.
With you.
I'm just saying. So I mean, it's cool. So Friday night's cool. This year it's Friday. We play in Columbia. It's cool to see them. I guarantee you, those kids would give their left arm to say, "Hey, why don't we do the Saturday game to Carolina Field as well?" And they'd be all for it. Okay, I call it Carolina Field still.
And with that,
they would have probably signed off to playing all 3 games there. I wish they would. If you asked them as a player, you want to play all 3 games at Carolina Stadium or play it, anywhere else, they would, because that's like their dream. I mean, it really is. It's like it is. It's like a Big Ten kid wanting to play in the Rose Bowl. It's like to them it's huge.
With what the comrade is saying here, everything he said?
Yeah, about 98% of it, yeah.
Okay. Which 2% didn't you agree with?
He used the double negative and he put a period in the wrong place. Other than that, it was spot on.
Damn. See?
Well, look, gentlemen, I completely agree with you. And I'll tell you why. See, this is the thing here. And Gamecock fans, I have to educate you on this. Clemson is not a baseball school. I'm not. Clemson's not a baseball school. We don't go around claiming to be a baseball school. Simple as that. Now, once again, I hope you extend us the same courtesy in the fall and realize what you are.
Bringing up football.
Which is not what we are. Which is not what we are.
We don't claim to be a football school either.
Bullshit.
We do?
Stop it.
When we claim to be a football school?
The majority of your fan base would love.
We're talking about us right now. That's we can't use the fans.
I
I can talk about your fans. I can bring up your fans.
Okay, so when you think of your school, you don't think you're a football school? Go ahead and put that out there on the record.
No.
Okay.
I
Caleb,
mean, we have
you already said no. I don't need the drawn out response. You said you're not a football school. Thank you for playing. Cale, do you think you're a football school?
No, we're fair. Everything is fairly well distributed.
Exactly.
We're really well balanced.
Exactly. We're deep. I mean, this is a good example this weekend.
For those that are listening to the podcast, which, by the way, you folks that are watching on YouTube and Facebook and all that, you can download this podcast and get it anywhere you want. The iHeartRadio app, Spreaker, Podbean, Apple Podcast, however you want to do it. Look for Rob and Comrade Show, and you can find it and listen wherever you want. You don't have to sit and look at our faces. You can actually just listen to the show. The show's probably better that way. But as Cale, I say that because Cale in the video here is smiling and basically
smiling with joy.
The bullshit that he's spinning
he's
there.
Smiling with joy. It's when you say the truth and how deep our program is, you smile. I smile and think about every season we got something to look forward to. Unlike Clemson, it's a one sports school. You know? And right now your fan base is happy about baseball because you're undefeated and we lost 2 games. But I guarantee you, when we beat you next weekend, it'll be it's another revenue sport. It's another revenue sport.
My next thing, man. You know, you claim you guys are a baseball school or whatever. That's fine. Since you have all that and Clemson's so low, right? Clemson shouldn't win a game next weekend. I mean, you guys should win every game 27-0.
Well, we should win. I mean, I think our offense
down there.
I think our hitters are lacking confidence right now. And I think they'll get well this weekend. But it's going to be tough. I say it's hard to play teams from the state because this is their dream. I mean, and we're trying to get ready for the SEC playing all these powers that we have to play.
Well,
this is Clemson's biggest thing.
That'll happen.
I mean, this is Clemson's season this week, right here. Because Clemson, I mean, listen, if you go to Clemson at this point, you're not advancing to Super Regional. Okay, I mean, that's who you are. And so your goal right now is can we take 2 or 3 from the game? You can't sweep us. That's happened in years. But it's like, can we take 2 or 3? If we can find a way, and it makes your season. I mean, it is the biggest thing. I mean, once this weekend's over, your fans stop paying attention. Let's be honest.
We'll see.
Be honest.
We're just little old Clemson. We're just.
It's not a big sport school. I mean, you don't even have it. You don't even have a Facebook group.
Yeah, we do.
About Clemson baseball. No, you don't.
Yeah, there's several.
Don't lie again. No, you don't.
I'm not lying. By the way, word has it that one team will be ranked going into this divisional series this weekend.
Oh.
One team will be ranked and one team won't. I don't know who that's going to be.
Oh, that's good. Congratulations.
Oh, let me see. It must be the ones
ranked in February.
The ones that beat the church softball team this weekend.
Hold on. Slow down a minute. I'll put Clemson's schedule of who they played now against yours, and I guarantee you it's better.
Oh, then you should win, right, this weekend? You're ranked. And
no.
You should crush us, right?
We're coming down here. We don't know what
Are you going to put on your hats ranked in February in your hats now? Ranked in Feb.
I don't know about
RIF. As you're going to have in your hats this week. Hashtag RIF.
Well, I heard that Gamecock football jerseys always have "wait till next year" pinned on them.
No, we don't put stuff on their stuff. We don't do that. So
you do.
Clemson puts a little stuff in their hats for things that are
they
fun.
do. It's called tradition.
Do you guys still put Omaha on your hat? Do you guys still do that?
I think they do. Yeah, pretty sure they do.
Do you guys want your
records? I don't necessarily have to agree with it.
There's a great stat I tweeted out, by the way. There's a great stat I tweeted. This is true now. This is factual. I don't post things on Twitter that's just factual, and this has got so much reaction. If the Gamecock baseball team, were to lose their next 43 games in a row in Omaha, okay, go 0-43, they would still have a better winning percentage in Omaha all time than Clemson. Think about that. They would go 0-43.
We're not a baseball school, Mike.
Okay, I'm just bringing it up there.
Cale, do you have any thoughts on the baseball team before I read some tweets here to you guys? Because You guys have got to get your fan base in check here.
I think they're. I think they're still in good shape. There's a lot of fans over there on the Gamecock 24/7 page that are already jumping ship, standing on the ledge, whatever you want to call it. Oh my God, let's fire everybody. Blah 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 blah. Hey, it's one series, guys. Let us calm down a little bit.
I'm going to agree with you on that, but here's the thing. You could expect, and this is, I think Mike will agree with me on this. I'm not sure, but you can expect at this point in the season where you could have a slip up in a series like this simply because your coach essentially hit the reset button on the team after last season, which he had to. They went 28-28 and didn't make the tournament for the third time out of 5 years. So you have to do something. So when you have all these new guys come in, you're still trying to tweak and figure out what you want to do. On the one front, last year was a disaster, but the season before, Coach Kingston had to figure out what he had, and he was able to manipulate that team and got them into the Super Regionals, a win away from going to the College World Series. I don't think that Coach Kingston can't coach. All right, let me make sure that we put that out there. All right, but I do think hitting the reset button may have been the wrong thing. And they're going to pay for it here early in the season because they're going to drop some series. You're going to look at it and be like, huh, how does that happen? Because you got too many new guys out there. They're still trying to figure each other out. And he's trying to figure out what the best rotation is and the best guy to bring in with the best situation, your best pinch hitters. All of that takes some time. So Gamecock fans losing their shit, you should calm down just a little bit. Is that a rational thought there, comrade, or not?
It is, and I would say this, that the goal, you said it's not a good idea. Well, the goal is be good when it matters, okay? And like I said before, unlike our basketball situation, our baseball team can afford to lose to teams that we shouldn't lose to early in the year because if we do our job in the conference, we'll be fine. Basketball is not that way. Our basketball conference will be pretty good, okay? But it's not going to help us because our basketball conference, one, has a bad reputation, and two, it's pretty mediocre. So the goal is to have a better team than we had last year, and I think they do, and I think they will. And so if it takes losing some games early on because you got a bunch of new guys, I mean, who cares? No one's going to care about that in May. So I'm not worried about that. They have enough on their schedule come conference time that any loss that they had here, they can quickly erase by finding it and playing up to their talent. There's a lot of talent in this team, first of all. A lot of talent, and that's just not me saying it. Okay, there's a lot of talent in this team. And I'll remind you again, I think our best hitter didn't play this weekend. Okay, he's a true freshman, didn't play this weekend. And Who knows if he's healthy and plays, maybe he gets a hit or two with guys on base. And we're here talking about the Gamecocks sweeping Northwestern. So, I mean, just keep that in mind to all the Gamecock fans who want Kingston fired today.
Well, we're going to go over who the Gamecocks want fired here in a moment. I've got some tweets to you guys, but let's talk about the basketball team, and I'll start with you, Cale. Not the performance you wanted against LSU. LSU putting up – if you'd have told me LSU was going to put up 86 points on defense, I would have laughed at you. I have too much respect for Coach Martin and what he has his guys normally do on the defensive front. But Gamecocks pretty much – from what I watched of the game, LSU kind of controlled it from the start. They'd lost four out of their last five, so they really needed a win. And it just seemed like they kind of gutted it out here in Columbia yesterday.
Yeah, and it's just typical. I mean, that's typical Gamecock bullshit. I mean, we have a lot of stuff riding on that game. A packed house and just going out and shitting the bed against a mediocre team. I mean, it's the same affliction in basketball as we have in football. Is the inability to beat teams from the SEC West. They just don't do it. Not on a damn regular basis. And there ain't no damn reason for it. There ain't no goddamn reason for it. I mean, you lose on the road on Wednesday night, should have regrouped and came out, but they just look flat. They look flat and terrible. Can't shoot free throws worth of shit. Terrible. Field goal shooting percentage in the first half, abysmal. And then they rely on these big runs. They try to make these big runs at the end of games. It seems like here lately to come back and win, which they were able to do against Tennessee because Tennessee is not very good. Against Mississippi State, they come up short on the road and come up short again last night. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's a talented team, but Frank Martin doesn't look like he's into coaching the team. I mean, he's still just sitting here with the.
Yeah, well, and for those listening on the podcast,
it pisses me off.
Thinker, like he's the thinker. That's we're sitting where he's got his hand under his chin, just thinking. I almost have to pull myself out of this conversation because I believe in what Frank Martin can do. I think he's the second best coach at the University of South Carolina. And I think that people give him crap. There were tweets he can't recruit, which I laughed at because it's like, are you forgetting that Sindarius Stormwell played there, playing in the NBA now? Jay Dozier played in the NBA, is played there as well. Chris Silva, he developed Chris Silva from bringing a kid that didn't touch a basketball until he was however old. Came in, now he's in the NBA. So I don't think it's an issue of he can't recruit. He has to find the right players. You're not going to get like a Cole Anthony from North Carolina. But I think I don't know. I honestly don't know what the hell the problem is. There's a huge section of Gamecock fans that are upset with Frank Martin. Alston has a good point. Did Frank blame the loss on getting back at 3 a.m.? I don't. Did you hear that exchange, Mike? Because
I didn't look
good. Really okay? Because I didn't hear it. I've been kind of out of the loop.
Yeah, he kind of like it was not one of Frank's party moments. I mean, listen, I'm not mad.
It's no problem, Mike, and I need you to be completely objective here because I have like this obsession that Frank Martin is a damn good coach. And I don't know what all these people are bitching about. Can you give me the other side of it? Because I
like Frank, and I like Frank, but here's my issue. See, Kale's really upset about LSU game. I'm not upset with the LSU game. Okay, that happens. LSU has been playing really bad lately, but they're talented. Okay, and they played a really good game, and they kicked their ass. We try to come back, whatever. But here's the problem, and I mentioned this before. The reason why I got mad a few weeks ago, you got all like, oh, you're a hypocrite. Okay, this is the reason. If we had beaten Stetson and Boston University, this loss doesn't mean crap, really. It's like, hey, we're good. But the problem is this game meant everything. And this game meant everything because we didn't take care of business early in the year, losing the teams we shouldn't lose to. And I know we got a bunch of new guys, and that's the excuse that Frank used, but this happens every damn year. And there's games early in the year which Frank tries to almost teach them a lesson as they lose. Like, oh, they're going to lose and figure it out. I'm going to sit here and not do anything. Well, I hate to tell this, but those losses kill you. In this new ranking, this new net system they use, a home loss to a crappy team kills you. And we've got 2 of them. And so, if anything, those games become like paramount. Okay, when you bring in these little shitty teams early in the year, you need to win them. And I'm not saying you got to look good winning them. There's some day, whatever. But you got to be coaching your butt off late in the game, okay? Not making a statement to A.J. Lawson like, well, he doesn't look like he's playing well. I'm playing for 14 minutes. No. You need to win the game, okay? Because that game will kill your season, as it has, okay? So I'm not mad about the LSU loss. That's expected. I mean, LSU may not expected, but LSU came in. They were a good team. They got hot. We got beat. You tip your hat to them. That's nothing wrong. Listen, but to lose to those teams we lost to are horrible teams, and you can't lose to them. And maybe you lose to one of them. You can't lose to both of them. And so that's what makes me angry is because I knew when that happened, I knew we were screwed because I knew what was going to happen. And we get ourselves in a position now where we have to be perfect now for a bunch of weeks. And that's hard to expect a team to be like that, especially when you lose a guy like Mania. And that's not an excuse, but you have to expect an injury too. And that's why you have to win those games early in the year, because you may have some guys out. And so we put ourselves in this spot now where basically we have to win the SEC tournament now. I guess if we ran the table and made it to the championship game, maybe we get in. I don't know. But once again, you're putting your hopes in a bunch of people trying to judge your season. But, I mean, we shouldn't be in this spot. We should be comfortably in right now. If we had taken care of those 2 games, we're pretty comfortably in. Right now, we're next 4 out. If we win those 2 games, we're comfortably in as long as we take care of business. We're in. So I'm more mad at early in the year. And that's what is frustrating. The people who want Frank Martin fired, listen, I get why they're upset, because this team should be a tournament team. Now, who do you blame for that? I mean, you blame the coach, right?
You got to start at the top. Yeah, I agree with you.
So, I mean, I don't want him fired, okay? Let me be clear. I don't want him fired. However, if you want to criticize him, he deserves some criticism this year. Bottom line. He deserves some criticism this year.
Okay.
Okay, this is on him.
Let me give you a stat. 2 seasons ago. Yeah, from 2 seasons ago, you mentioned the games that you lose, you have no business losing. You lost a game to Illinois State. The Gamecocks, I think, were a better team than they are. You've also this past season, in addition to losing to Augusta University in an exhibition, you lost to Stony Brook, and you got blown out by 20 by Wofford. Yeah, the past year. And then you went on the road to Wyoming.
Well, Wofford was a good team. I mean, it's too easy to get blown out. But Wofford was a good team.
But,
yeah.
The other thing, but you shouldn't go on the road and lose to fucking Wyoming. That was
horrible.
The one thing that I question about Frank Martin is why schedule. And I understand he did it to give his buddy a game and something like that, and I get it. But the point is that doesn't make any sense to me to schedule that game. But my big thing, and Cale, are you in the camp of we should fire Frank Martin because of what's going on right now?
No.
I thought you would be the guy to be like, man, this sucks. But I thought it was just gonna be me and Comrade on the Frank Martin train. But
well, I mean, my problem with Gamecock fans is every time something goes wrong, when everyone's fired, you can be upset with somebody and not want them fired.
Necessarily every time.
Like, well, I'm just saying, like, you can be upset with somebody, you can question somebody and not want them fired. Okay,
right.
Frank Martin deserves blame this year. He deserves blame this year. They should not be losing those games, and the way he coached those games, I question. You can go back there and look at how he used his team.
The Stetson game was complete bullshit, by the way.
Yeah.
He looked like he did not give one gram of fuck.
He was trying to teach a lesson. He wanted the players to coach. That's fine. Okay? That's fine, I guess, except that game counts. Like, it's not spring training. It's not exhibition game. If it's an exhibition game, I get it. It's fine. But that game counts. Okay? And I hope he understands. I'm sure he does. But, like, that's the thing. He gets real defensive if you bring that up, too. But I'm telling you, that game counts, man. And that's why we're in the position. If we win that game, this loss doesn't really make a big deal, to be honest with you. I forget someone figured out the net rankings if we won that game. I think someone told me we're like 67th right now, I think. And that, I think if you win that game, we're like 41 right now with a loss to LSU. And basically,
I heard 48, but we're not trying to.
I heard if you're basically in the top 50, you're pretty much good. Okay, so I'm telling you, you take with the 2 losses to BU, okay, or then it's just it doesn't make any sense, man. And he deserves to get criticism. I'm not saying he should be fired, but good Lord, I mean it gets frustrating. This team is too good.
Do you think that we're going to talk about the Clemson stuff in just a minute? Some folks in the Facebook chat and the YouTube chat want us to get into that too. But the other thing is that there is a contingent of fans right now that are in the social media world that want to get rid of Ray Tanner. Are you on that boat, Cale? We'll start with Cale because I'm sure Comrade's got I don't think he feels that way. Go ahead, Cale. What do you
Well,
think?
and honestly, I heard him today that he was doing some work on the SEC network. He was on there, helping to do the commentary on today's game, and I think that's a smart move by the SEC network. Keep the old juices flowing, the old baseball juices flowing through his veins, because we may need them. I'd love to see him go back out and coach that baseball team again, and make one big move before he relishes the athletic director role, and you know what that is dumping a certain individual out on his keister, and then taking over the reins of that baseball program and getting that shit straightened the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, I don't think firing Frank Martin would get you anywhere. I don't think firing and first of all, Gamecock fans that want to fire Mark Kingston.
I'm not talking about Frank Martin.
No, let me finish my thought, Cale.
I'm not talking about Frank Martin though.
He's talking about Muschamp.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I was leaving that for the comrade so he could sit there and look silly, because when you talk about firing Muschamp, the first thing the comrade's going to say to me is, Rob's talking about football. I'm not talking about football, and it hurts his colon.
Well, you're talking about the AD. The AD.
I was going on a completely different thought here.
Okay, all right, jackass.
Easy. I know he's your boyfriend, but you got to calm down. The reality is that I don't think firing. First of all, the Gamecock fans that want to fire Kingston, you're out of your gourd. You have to give him time. It's not even his third season yet. Just stop. Holy shit. The people that want to fire Frank Martin, I can definitely understand. You're like, one tournament appearance in 8 years. There's been a lot of different incidents, from players shooting out windows with BB guns to the stuff with PJ Dozier. We don't know where that's going to end up. Go ahead, Cale.
Well, here's the thing with Frank Martin, and a Clemson fan told me this on my YouTube channel the other night, and I think this is kind of the same affliction with the Clemson basketball program and Brad Brownell. A lot of the Clemson fans want him gone, but it's kind of like with us, we're too bad to ever really be considered good, and too bad to really play for anything meaningful, but yet we're too good to fire the head coach. If that makes any sense. We're like tweeners.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good term, but it's like the old I don't know if that's the good way to put it, but what Cale's saying is right. But the other thing with firing Ray Tanner, I think that Ray Tanner will leave the athletics program if the football team does not have a good season this year. If they don't go to a bowl game, I think he will go and Muschamp will go too. I don't think that he'll be able to. He's not going to be the guy that's going to fire Muschamp. I think he'll get fine, and they'll have a new athletic director that will come in, and they'll probably have him hired before Christmas, so he can get out there and get a coaching staff in to come in and try to rescue the program from the dumpster fire that Will Muschamp has put it in. So if Ray Tanner's not going anywhere until that losing season happens this year. Now, if the Gamecocks have a winning season, you're going to have a lot more of Ray Tanner. That's just the way it's going to be. So there's enough with that. Can we move on to Clemson for a minute, gentlemen? The Clemson baseball team, they will probably, from my source, be ranked this week in one of the collegiate baseball polls as they move to 7-0 with a 3-game sweep over Stony Brook. The Tigers had a team record on Friday. Sam Weatherly punched out 14 batters, looking really, really strong at this point. I still have concerns on the Tigers' offense. They don't have anybody that you can just count on to go up there and get a hit. Like, who was the guy that hit the homer today there, Mike, for South Carolina? To Cooper? Is that the guy who hit the homer? Mike?
No, Wes Clark.
There was a guy that hit a 3-run homer today. I thought. Was it Cooper or Clark? I don't know.
It was Clark.
Whoever it was for South Carolina, they have some punch in the middle of their lineup where you can depend on that guy to go up there and possibly hit you a big base hit. Clemson's they scored 1 run today on a walk, a throwing error, and a balk. Wrap your head around that, Mike. He got a walk, throwing error, and then a balk. So that's how Clemson is scoring runs, and that's
you don't see that a lot.
How many hits are you guys getting a game like that? Are you getting a lot of hits or just a lot of singles?
Not really. I mean, the pitching staff. The pitching staff is. I'm trying to remember the exact numbers, but it's the pitching staff did really well. They didn't give up. The starters did not give up an earned run over the entire weekend. So that's a good thing. But I'm looking back at the scores from the past couple of days. It wasn't like Clemson just lit them up. And I don't feel real confident about the Tigers as far as hitting goes. When they run into a team that can actually pitch and pitch really well, they're going to have problems. I mean, I truly believe that. So it's nice to start 7-0. I goof on earlier, but this matchup that they're going to have this coming week with South Carolina will be their toughest matchup to date. If they go through, and I do think that I like Weatherly to pitch well on Friday night. Saturday with Davis Sharp, he's pitched well in the past against big-time opponents, so I think he'll be doing okay when they play at the Firefly Stadium. The Sunday game, they're running Spencer Strider and John Clark out there together, and it's just I don't know what the hell they're doing on Sunday. It's ridiculous, but they're not getting enough hits. They got to work that out. But there, your Clemson baseball team 7-0. It's kind of hard to gripe when they're 7-0 on the season. Brad wants to know first of all, did you guys watch any of the Clemson baseball games or not?
I follow on. I usually follow Clemson baseball on Twitter. I'll check the Twitter thing and see that stuff.
Right, and Kale told us before he's not the biggest baseball guy, and that's fine. But it's not a big deal.
But I will say this though: it sounds like your team is built different than our team is kind of more. All or nothing power guys, not enough guys to get on, not like the base hits. So
an American League team. That's what you want.
And so we're supposed to be, Noah Campbell. It's kind of looks like he's cut down the swing a little bit more. He's trying to be a contact guy. They're trying to be more like that. But we have a team of guys who can all go deep. But the problem is getting that, getting rallies together and getting guys on base and getting hits, which we didn't do this week at all. So we're a team that can explode, hit a bunch of home runs, and score 12 runs in a game maybe, but then get shut out back-to-back days too. So hopefully that's a little bit different. Last year we're kind of like that a lot, a little bit too heavy. We're supposed to be a little bit more balanced this year, but so far it kind of looks the same. But it's still early, cold weather. We'll see what happens this weekend.
Clemson, by the way, got 7 hits one game. And they got 4 hits and won 1-0 yesterday. So I'm giving you this because I'm not trying to run them down. I'm just saying, today they got 3 runs, but they only had 3 hits. So in the 3-game set, they had 14 total hits.
God,
you
can't hit that church softball pitching any better than that. Holy shit!
I will not.
It's slow,
you bald man. I will not do it.
Slow. And it comes at you slowly.
You look just like me.
From the deacon.
Come on, Kale. Kale don't want to hear my shit tonight. Brad says, "What's the verdict on the Clemson basketball team?" Fuck, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, they could still end up with a losing record.
They could, but they could win the fuck out if they go and they shoot. I think it was a new conference record as far as field goal percentage in a game.
You're not winning out. You're not beating Florida State. Leonard Hamilton bends you over every time y'all play him.
Let me finish. 68% from the field. That's an amazing stat, regardless of who you're playing. It's pretty damn impressive. But I agree with Kale on that. Florida State is really good. Why don't people respect Leonard Hamilton more? That guy can flat out coach. Everybody's like,
because everybody's sitting here waiting for them to fucking be good in football again.
That's right.
They don't want to. I don't know. They don't want to think about anything else.
Well, their basketball.
They're really good.
Good.
They are.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to think about Clemson. Here's what I think. Brad Brownell's making me look stupid because ever since, I've been on the kick forever that he sucks. Now they come out and it's like, what the hell? What the hell's going on here? You've got all these guys that now they're playing a little bit better, but I still remember losses to Wake Forest and losses to teams you have no business freaking losing to. Lost the game to Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a shit show on the hoops floor this year.
Lost to Yale.
Was in that game. Lost to Yale. Although Yale's very high in the net rankings, by the way, Kale. I don't know if you knew that or not, but not that it's like I'm trying to camouflage a loss here, but I don't know what the hell the deal is with this Clemson team. Mike, you have a thought on this Clemson team, or am I just whacked?
I think, as Kel said earlier about them, they're kind of – who was that coach? Who's a football coach? Wayne Fonts. Remember Wayne Fonts, the Detroit Lions? He was always on the hot seat. And whenever he got in the hot seat, they win like 6 in a row and save his job. It's kind of like Brad Brownell. He's kind of – every time he's like – you want to get rid of him, he pulls a win streak off and looks good. And you go, hey, they had a pretty good year. Let's keep him around a little bit. And, so I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens and, how their season ends. Maybe we'll play through the NIT. Be an NIT matchup. Remember we'll play the Madison Square Garden. NIT championship game. Clemson and South Carolina, New York City.
Thomas Dana Young is a patron of the program. I just highlighted his chat there. Kale, can you respond to what he just posted here?
What? Clemson has the most successful basketball, baseball, and football program in the state. What is he basing that on?
I don't think
football. I'll give you, but the other two, I don't know about. They've never made a Final Four.
Yep.
They've never won a College World Series twice, almost 3 times. So I don't know.
He's just making stuff
up. Maybe intoxicated.
It's
possible.
A lot of our patrons may be intoxicated. Lawton Swan of Sports Talk. Go ahead, Kev.
Speaking of being intoxicated, I had one of our followers on the over on the Robin Comrade channel, former co-worker back in the day, Shane Paul Metcalf of Easley, South Carolina. Shout out to Shane. He commented the other day, which he never responded to, said, "Drinking on the air, Kale. Real professional, just like the coot." Well, tonight, once again, bottoms up to you there, Shane.
By the way,
professionalism, carry on.
Exactly. And you know what? To put on this damn level of a freaking show, you have to drink. You just have to. It's just the way that it is. The patrons for our show: Lawton Swan, Thomas Dana Young, Stacey Hamp, Keith Harrelson, Jamie Phillips, Tabitha Sims, Robert Knight, Positive Mike, Lisa Sester Harkins, Jeff Pritchett, Christian Young, Nathan Medlin, Sally Donegan, and Eddie Hicks, and Melanie also is a patron of the show. We got to get that updated on the website. So we appreciate the patrons of the show. But anyway, we got the big matchup coming up this weekend with South Carolina and Clemson in baseball. I know I'm going to the Saturday game. I don't know. Kale, you're not coming down for any of them, right? You got to work probably.
No. Yeah, of course.
I think we get Kale out of work long enough to come and do the show, and then he takes his ass back to work. Kale's a working fool.
That's how it is.
Mike, are you going to be able to make it to a game this weekend or not?
It doesn't look too good. I'm telling you right now, 4 kids and they all have sports,
just like always on this show. I will carry the fucking load.
It's not. As my kids get older, It's harder. The weekends get more jam packed. So I may be able to do Saturday, maybe.
Well, if you do Saturday, we will. I will be at the Fireflies Stadium,
Segra Park.
Segra Park. Thank you for that, Mike. And I'll be standing out there in right field. And if you want to come by and say hello, so there's that. I don't think was there any other story. Another story out there that you guys wanted to mention from over the weekend that kind of tipped your head a little bit. I don't think I had anything else. Gail, there was something that you were. I thought you had something, but I can't remember. My brain's been kind of whacked out here lately. I apologize for that. But hey, that's part of life. All right, so be sure to follow us. I am on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Comrade is at the Pesky Pole. Kale is at Hall_Kale. You can type in Carolina Jackpot and that'll work, right, Kale?
Yes, it will.
Okay. The other one's got to go. And by the way, if you're listening to the podcast, you want to watch the show live, of course, you can do it on Facebook. And you can also do it on the Carolina Jackpot YouTube channel. You should be subscribing to Kale's YouTube channel. Why? Because Kale, in addition to doing this fine show, he also does other things like, I'm going to send Kale some of these. Look at these, Kale. These are called, oh shit, his cat attacked him. These are called Crazy Go Nuts. It's a superfood snack. It's buffalo, all-natural gourmet walnuts.
That looks great.
For a taste test with Kale Hall. It says they're like no corn syrup, flavorings, or funny business.
And well, it shouldn't have any syrup on them. Only pancakes have syrup, not nuts.
Exactly. These are low carb. They're gluten-free, and they're vegan, Kale. I mean, I know you did the Diet Mountain Dew video, and you had the whole thing on that. So I was hoping Kale could do a video on if I eat unoiled nuts, will that make me skinny? That's what I was thinking you would go with.
That would be my pleasure.
Kale doesn't like his nuts with oil, gentlemen.
No.
There you go with that.
Absolutely not. I might have a hell of a time there.
Holy shit, that's pretty funny. Braves got underway. They won one of their 2 games. And here's my favorite story, and then we'll get out of here. Astros fan or people that went to cheer or go to Astros games with signs that said the Astros were cheating, they took their signs. So they stole the people's signs that were in the stands. Holy shit! What a gonk show the Astros are.
They all this could have gone away if they just would have came out and been sorry, but they're so like adamant trying to that they make it worse. So it's been a fun year.
Yeah.
I don't watch Astro. I have the Major League Baseball package. I don't watch Astro games, but I will watch all the Astro games this year just to see who gets hit by pitches, and it's a must watch now for me. So
all right. Well, Dennis Wilson sent me a message. He went to the game, and I forgot to mention this really quick. There was an incident at third base today with the coach for South Carolina, and he was basically looking at what the pitcher was doing as far as his grip go. And he was trying to signal the batter at the plate with, hey, this is what's coming. And with me, that's not illegal.
That's
if
baseball.
The pitcher's dipping his hand, and you can see it. But the Northwestern coach, he got out there quick. And Dennis said he could hurt him telling the guy, showing off your pitches. What the hell's wrong with you, basically, which I thought was funny. But, it was funny that the third base coach for South Carolina was trying to not really steal signs, but
that's what
to me, that's part of the game.
Baseball. Yeah, that's you, one, being smart, and the pitcher not doing a good job of disguising his pitches. I mean, major league pitchers, they work on not tipping their pitches, and they get real. And this is the whole thing with the Astro thing that's so bad, is that when the Astros are hitting these guys hard, they're thinking they're tipping their pitches, and they're going back watching their film, going, "What am I doing?" When in reality, they're not tipping their pitches. So I feel bad for them, but they do that, And just like in terms of you look for things, like say for example, if a split finger, a guy who's a great split finger or forkball, they tend to dig into their glove more. A split finger's coming. Now, what you do, like Roger Clemens used to do this all the time. What Roger Clemens started doing was every time he would go to throw a pitch, he'd dig into his glove and get a split finger grip, because then it's easier to adjust it back to a fastball grip without it noticing. So he started doing that early on in his career. So that's just normal. Chipper Jones said the other day, if he knew what pitches were coming, he'd hit 400. He said Chipper Jones said all I would do was try to figure out the pitchers and if they tipped their pitches. That's what he would study. What does this guy do when he throws a curveball? Well, he does something with his shoulder. He does something with his arm. And he would try to pick out little things to help him. He goes, if I'd have to do that, if you just gave me a bang in the trash can, I'd hit 400. Because, all of a sudden now,
I believe him more of he'd hit 400 over than Carlos Stanton saying he hit 80 homers.
Well, that year, Giancarlo hit 59 home runs that year, though. He was in his prime, so.
Final question for the show tonight. Cale, why do all the women love you? Have you ever noticed in our chat over here, everything is, hey, Jackpot. We love Jackpot. Everybody loves Jackpot. What's your secret, Cale? Everybody loves Jackpot. I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, I can't tell you.
Cale, your next YouTube video should be how you spread the goodness, because all these women love Cale.
The Latin lover.
Have you noticed that, Mike? All of these women love.
It doesn't shock me, though. It does not shock me.
It doesn't shock you at all. Holy shit. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate you joining me this evening for that. Tamman says it's because you look like Stone Cold and Butterbean. I think gotta drop the Butterbean thing. You look like fucking Butterbean. Damn it. By the way, the women that listen to this show are outstanding. Let's not forget, Tabitha Sims won the bowl competition. Sally Donegan won the pick'em competition against all these big swinging dicks. They beat all of them. So our women know sports. Look at this, Melissa right there. She's got the whole emojis with the hearts. Loves her some Cale Hall. How many sets of roses can
we could turn this into a Blue Chew commercial.
There you go.
By the way, we have been approached by Blue Chew. That's not a joke, Cale. Comrade and I got approached by Blue Chew.
I'm not surprised.
So, but Blue Chew, they can't sell it in our state yet. But once they get it approved where they can sell it in our state, they loved the Comrade and I's ad that we did so much that they're going to sponsor the show. They just you can't get it in our state yet. So that's a big thing. You can't sell it here yet.
Bible Belt,
government, whatever. But
I found that out. I found that out early.
How'd you find? Just find some Blue Chew, Cale?
No. I was just reading. About just doing research on stuff. I like to do that in my spare time.
Cale needs the Blue Chew with all these women that love him on the YouTube channel. I'm gonna change his name to I Heart Cale. That's for the next show. I don't want to see Carolina Jackpot under your name. I want to see I Heart Cale.
You got it.
All right, gentlemen. With that, this show is a wrap.